after seeing the topics that we're going to discuss today, or the segments that we have for you guys today, we're going to highlight on a different variety of issues, starting on the International Day for Radiology. Also, the topic of the custodian of the two holy mosques launching 21 projects in Medina. And also, we're going to talk about the second conference of public health and family medicine, as well as the Arabian Star team. Now, of course, all of these topics are actually going to be filled with interesting surprises that we're going to have, including many of other things, including the Arabian Star team, which actually represents a very good thing through community service. However, now, our dear viewers, we're going to be going to a national song of the morning, and we'll be right back after this, so stay tuned. And welcome back, our dear viewers. Now moving on to our next topic of the day, was actually the Arabian Stars team. The Arabian Stars team was established at the end of 2015. However, the team has a special vision of community service through My Hobby. Instead of riding motorcycle only, through this vision, we have been able to contribute, or they have been able to contribute to the national celebrations and festivals, and they also have been able to serve many charities, such as the Disabled Children's Association, also the Association for Care of Orphans, and also Senate Association for the Care of Children with Cancer, and many others. And of course, we have a special guest to talk to us about this, who was Mr. Saeed Jazzar, who's the director and founder of the Arabian Star team. So I'd like to take this chance to say Assalamu alaikum and good morning to you.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me in.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Saeed. Could you please tell us about your team?
Well, Arabian Stars team is a fairly new team that has been established in 2015, end of 2015. And we committed to helping the society somehow, instead of just gathering to do the sport or the event. And really, we've gained so much doing this. Like the thought of giving is always better than taking. And we found out that lots of the younger kids that have joined the team, they're eager to serve the community, and they're eager to put up, such efforts. And so far we've done great. I mean, we have commitment with 7 or 8 organizations, charity organizations, and we developed a new program that's called For the Eye of the Kids, and every 2 weeks we have a new kid to tell us about his story or whatever, and their illnesses. Last Thursday, we had an event called For Uyun Ghala, for the Eyes of Ghala. Ghala al-Ahmari is a child that was diagnosed with leukemia in early 2017. She received treatment in the USA, and she's back in Saudi Arabia. Wow. She's a very cute little angel. She's 5 years old, and we held the event for her at one of the malls in Riyadh, around Riyadh. Yes. Although we complain about lack of sponsorship for such events, honestly.
Okay. And what about like your activities? Like, what do they include, and what if you could tell us about your last activity other than the one about Ghala? If you could tell us about your past activities as well. Okay. And what is it about?
Actually, we help to contribute some time for the charity organizations in general. And like I mentioned before, we have 7 charity organizations that we have agreements with. And we contribute to that by doing shows like in December 15th, 16th, 17th, that weekend we have the Riyadh exhibition, first Riyadh exhibition for motorbikes and classic cars.
Wow.
Yes, and we invite all the charity organizations for free to come and attend over there, and we hold social events for members of those organizations.
Of course.
In the month of February, which is the month of cancer awareness, we have a long ride through GCC countries for the Gulf campaign of cancer awareness that starts from Riyadh through Kuwait, and then Bahrain, and then UAE and Oman, and back to Riyadh. So most of our activities is joined with charity
organizations. Right. But like talking about community service in general, how do you rate the popularity of community service among like Saudi citizens or Saudi public?
Well, we're trying to set up a role example for them, and we're seeing it picking up. The first event we had, had about 300 participants, and now if we don't limit the number, it goes in hundreds, really. In Jeddah last year, they had a bike show, and we participated there. There were over 800 participants. So it's picking up in the community, in the Saudi community, and we're trying to make it as a Saudi national trend, you know, among other Arab nations.
I mean, of course, I think it's already considered kind of a tradition, you know, to help people, you know, as part of our religion, you know. And they do it, you know, sometimes, you know, when it's Ramadan, they would help people. But like the only example of actually community service that I've experienced myself was when I was a student in the King Saud University. And what they did is that I had a class and they made it mandatory for us to actually do community service. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should be, but it actually gave us a sense of what community service is really like.
Exactly.
You know?
Once you feel it, you will never get out of it.
Exactly. Once you do it.
Like I mentioned before, the feeling of giving is a lot better than taking.
That's true. That's true. And if you would please tell us about the rules and regulations to be a member in your team.
Actually, we have no rules or regulations as long as you hold a valid driver license, motorcycle driver license. And you have to wear all the safety gear, of course, the helmet and the vest and the boots and what have you. And we have trainers, professional trainers that will train newcomers into, you know, the motorbiking life. So.
Of course, and serve my community through my hobby is a wonderful slogan. And how did you encourage such a positive behavior?
Actually, the first event we've did was for Senate charity organization for helping kids with cancer, and we were touched honestly in 2016, February 2016, when we got in touch physically, in touch with the kids, and we saw how those kids are suffering. And we've done 2 events for Senate in the February of 2016, and we found out when we visited them in the hospital at King Fahd Hospital for kids with cancer, and that the feeling of giving really, and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that your kids are fine and they're not suffering as those kids. And this is what encouraged all of us, and really I'd encourage your viewers also to pick up their phones and send an empty SMS to 5083 and donate 10 riyals for Senate charity organizations. I don't know if you were able to film part of our event on Friday and see part of the kids that had cancer, like Ghala Al-Ahmari, Allah yashfiha yarfa anha. Those kids, they deserve a chance, honestly. Let's help each other and donate money for.
Of course, they actually showed it. They showed the event that you had on Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's part of it.
Of course. And could you please tell us about the show that you're performing?
The one in the Localizer Mall?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a show that we've invented. It's called For the Eyes of the Kid. And every 2 weeks we have a new kid as a guest of our show, and we go to one of the malls. So far it's been done in the Localizer Mall, and we thank them for holding such event for us, honestly. And we bring in the child, and he tells his parents would tell their misery and how they're suffering and what have you.
Yeah.
And we invite the family to dinner at one of the restaurants available in the mall, and then we give the child a gift.
Wow.
And we hold a session for the charity organization that's the guest of that night. Like last week it was Senate, and they help to distribute leaflets and what have you of awareness of their cause, like cancer.
But it's
awareness.
really amazing how you actually took this step to show that community service could be about such a good cause, not just by helping or by making people help without any without exchanging for anything in return, but to actually do it for all these charity organizations that need to be acknowledged by the public, and they need to be known so they can receive donations and they can receive all these kind of publicities for them to help all these other people.
True, if there wasn't a need for it, actually, we wouldn't have been welcome.
Of course, yes.
We definitely feel that there is a big need for it, and I would encourage the society in general and your viewers to always help, even if you cannot do the service yourself, but your money can do it sometimes.
Definitely, yes.
Pick up the phone and send a free SMS to one of the charity organizations and be a member of this community.
Of course, but if you could tell us, Mr. Saeed, how can we, what can we do as a society to encourage our youth to be more involved in community service, also in helping those who are in need, you know?
Well, actually, one of the best things that I've seen is the family encouragement, where it comes from home. When the families bring their kids or their children to such shows and help them to, you know, or encourage them to donate and to listen to misery of other people. Definitely the children have feelings like we do, and they would feel sorry for other children. And they would pick it up at a young age. At my time and age, there wasn't too many charity organizations back then in Saudi Arabia. There were some, but few.
That's true.
Honestly. But now it's publicized everywhere. You can see it. I mean, it's very easy to help and to be a member of this community and to help your society.
Of course.
And like I said, you don't have to do it physically. Sometimes money can do it for you. Can do it for you better than you can do it physically.
That's true. So. Also, how could we encourage hobbies in our kids in a positive way? How can we identify if they have talents or if they have something that they should actually work on and basically use it as a hobby for themselves?
Well, this comes also from home, but they should encourage the child to pick up a hobby. I mean, if the father plays soccer, it doesn't have to be, you know, his son plays soccer. I myself don't like soccer or football. And nobody ever encouraged me to play it or look at it or consider it. I picked up my hobbies as I was a child, you know, growing up from bicycle to whatever, and then coming into finally into motorcycle riding and what have you. So the parents should encourage their children to have a hobby, and especially if it's accompanied by a sport. If it's a sport by itself, physically it helps them to be fit.
Yeah, but do you have any tips that could actually help parents, you know, develop or make them
actually, if the father of the family has a hobby himself, the kids will pick up their hobbies, and he should take them to different events. Like now we have Hayat Tarfi, which is very good, honestly.
Yeah.
It creates lots of events for the families to go and for the children to develop themselves.
That's
and
true.
to pick up what they want to do.
True.
Honestly, take them to such events. Now women or families are allowed to go into stadiums to watch events, not just football events.
That is true.
Yes, so this is by itself as an encouragement, honestly, but it should be done on a family level. It shouldn't be just the father or the child, all accompanied, accompanied as a family. They should attend such events.
Definitely.
And the child will definitely show signs of interest in which field he would like to go on. They should encourage him, honestly.
Of course. And now, Mr. Saeed, what are the challenges and the obstacles that you face when you're doing all of these wonderful events through Saudi Arabia or through?
Actually, I thank you for this very important question, Mr. Ibrahim. The sponsorship, honestly, we lack sponsorship. Nobody contributes to the society in general, or to what we are doing. What we do is comes from our own pockets, honestly. Up until now, we get promises of people, like we wanted to do the classic car event, and we've got promises that it will be done, and we will hold it for you, and then as time gets by, they're requesting money instead of donating money to the charity.
Wow.
So we lack sponsorship, and we've tried to reach some people through, or some companies or agencies or entities through your show, such as MESC, Al Khairiyya, and to help us in the sponsorship, honestly, and also Hayat Tarfi, to help us find sponsorship for us, to serve the community through our hobbies.
Of course. And what about your upcoming project or upcoming activity that you're actually planning to do? Yeah. If you could tell us about it, and also to our viewers, so they can have an idea, and hopefully they can attend as well and get a better idea about your team.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Like I said, in December 15, 16, and 17, the weekend of 15, 16, and 17, we have an event, the Riyadh First exhibition for motorcycles and classic cars.
Wow.
And we will be joined by 7 charity organizations also. And in that event, we're going to have comics and stand-up comedy and karting for women also, which is going to be the very first event in Riyadh for karting for women. And we're going to have Arda Saudiya and lots of, and of course the winners of the modified bikes and the classic bikes, the stock bike and the classic cars, they will be awarded between the first place winner would be awarded something like 20,000 riyals, and then we're trying to work out sponsorship for these events also.
So it's going to take place on December 16?
15,
16, 17.
17.
Of course.
Right. And then after that we have the Gulf tour for the Gulf cancer, for the Gulf awareness of cancer. And it's going to be in Riyadh to Kuwait, and then Kuwait to Bahrain, and Bahrain to UAE, Oman, and back to Riyadh. And also this is a heavy program that's going to involve hundreds of participants.
Of course.
Yeah, and we need also sponsorship for this event. And we hold our annual events for Insan Charity Organization in the summer, in the spring camp. Of course, that's going to be also, I think, in March of 2018. And we have the Sarawat Mountain Tour, which is we tour Sarawat Mountain starting from Taif and end up in Asir.
And when is that going to take place?
That's going to be in January, I guess, of 2018. Yes, and also we're accompanied by charity organizations in this event.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Said, for joining us and giving us this wonderful topic on the Arabian Star team.
Thank you,
and also this wonderful cause that you work in. It's really an amazing thing and makes us all proud.
I thank you very much, and I thank the Saudi Second Channel for having me in this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now our dear viewers are going to be going on for a short break, and we'll be right back after this, so stay tuned.